Before we begin tonight's conversation, I want to thank our sponsors, Cozy Earth. At What's Behind the Bra, our mission is rooted in comfort, care, and showing up for people during life's most difficult moments. And that's exactly why Cozy Earth aligns so beautifully with our community. Cozy Earth creates luxury bamboo bedding, pajamas, and loungewear that are incredibly soft, breathable, and gentle on the skin. When someone is going through treatment, recovery, or long nights of caregiving, comfort isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Their sheets are temperature regulating, their fabrics are soothing, and they truly create a space for rest, healing, and restoration. So whether you're a survivor, a caregiver, or someone who simply deserves better sleep, Cozy Earth is something I truly recommend. You can support them and support our mission by using my discount code MOBASS. That's MOBASS, MOBASS, when you shop Cozy Earth. I earn a commission when you use my code, so please use my code, and I'll also be sharing the link after the live.
Okay.
Okay? So, all right, family. Now I want to officially welcome who's joining us tonight. If this is your first time here, I'm Monique Bass, the founder of What's Behind the Bra and host of Behind the Stories. This platform was created to give voice to survivors, caregivers, and families to talk about what people really go through, not just during the fight, but the quiet moments behind it. Tonight's episode is very, very close to my heart. Tonight we are talking about caregivers, the daughters, the sons, the mothers, and the fathers, the family members and loved ones who put their own lives on pause to care for someone else's. Our guest tonight is Anya Lane. She's a caregiver, a daughter, a mother, and a voice of healing.
Yes.
And before I introduce her fully, I need to share tonight why tonight is personal for me. So back in 2021, Anya and I were connected during one of the hardest seasons of our lives. Her mom, Mary, and I were both battling breast cancer at the same time. We didn't know each other long, but when you're in that fight, you recognize each other's strengths.
Yes.
So one day, Anya sent me a message on IG that I will never forget. She congratulated me on finishing my chemotherapy, and she told me her mom was battling stage 2 breast cancer at that time, and that was again 2021, and she offered to bring me dinner just to make my journey a little easier.
Yes.
And that message touched me deeply because that is a heart of a caregiver.
Yes.
Even while hurting and even while afraid, she was thinking about someone else. So in return, I put together a care package, and I gave it to her mom, and then I also gave them a What's Behind the Bra t-shirt, not knowing that years later we would be sitting here telling this story.
Yes.
Sadly, God later called her mom, Mary, home, which was January 2024, about 2 years.
Yes, 2 years on the 7th of this month.
Yeah, but her love and her strength and her legacy lives on through Anya.
Yes.
So tonight is about honoring Mary. It's also about, honoring survivors and caregivers. So without further ado, I want to welcome Anya Lane.
Yes, thank you. This is I've been looking forward to this episode since you first asked me to do it. So it was just a lot of like mixed emotions going into doing it, but I am a very, very transparent person. So I feel as though me telling the story of what I've experienced can help somebody else. So as long as I can help somebody else, I'm willing to put myself out there.
No, I appreciate you joining us tonight. So for those meeting you tonight, who are you and who was your mom to you?
So again, I'm Anya, a caregiver, mom, friend, business owner. My mom was everything to me. We were very, very, very close. she was a single parent. We pretty much was raised um, in my grandparents' home for the most part, and my dad was in and out my life, but I still had a relationship with him. But my mom was the primary parent. She's the one that sacrificed everything to the point where my mom used to see coins in the street and she would pick them up, and I'm just as a child thinking like, why are you picking up all these coins? Like, what are you doing? But she always had the idea that pennies makes dollars. So she always, even the littlest thing, she would be able to sacrifice herself just to make sure I had, a better life. So
She sounds like a beautiful woman.
hmm
So take us back to the moment you learned about your mom's diagnosis. What did that season of life feel like?
it was hard because at the time, most people don't know that I had my own medical issues at the time. I had just came out of, separation from, my then husband, with my two kids. We actually moved into my mom's house, her apartment, and it was a one-bedroom apartment. It was, supposed to be temporary. And prior to my mom getting cancer, she had 3 strokes back to back. So my caregiver role didn't just start when she was diagnosed. It started in January of 2018.
Oh, okay.
That's where it started. But when she got diagnosed, um, I found out that I had early stages of uterine cancer. So
Oh,
I had to get, at the time, a hysterectomy. So my mom being selfless, my mom putting herself out there and just being that mom, she held off on letting me know that she had found the lump in her breast.
right.
So once my medical crisis was over, she then spoke up and we got her to the doctor. And at the time, we found out it was stage 2. And then overnight, it went to stage 4. You know, and it was hard because at the time, I had friends that was going through cancer. Like one of my close friends, she had just found out that she had breast cancer a month between my mom.
Hmm.
So, that alone, dealing with all that, she was
Hmm.
able to help me with the beginning journey of, finding out my mom had breast cancer. It was devastating to us.
Now, when we met in 2021, she was stage 2. Like, what happened after? Like, what's the time frame of when it changed?
It was very soon. So she found out, we found out around November. Actually, it was right before Thanksgiving. We found out in 2020. So when she went for the surgery, um because she couldn't, they wanted to do a double mastectomy, but since she had the history of the strokes and she was still dealing with that, and she had, other pre-existing conditions, they said they can't do a double mastectomy because they can't have her on the table for that long.
Right.
So once they did the surgery in February and they checked the lymph nodes, they found out that it had metastasized. So it started to spread. So it went from 2 to 4, like literally, like almost overnight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. And then later on in her journey, it spread to different parts of her body. So it went from the breast, um, uh, partial on the lung, and then from there, it went to the liver, and then it went to
So
her.
it metastasized.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
wow. So
but
so she never went into remission.
absolutely not.
Oh,
She immediately, they did the mastectomy first. They removed one breast, and then they tried the chemo, um, different rounds of chemo. At the time, she was going to Hackensack Hospital, so I was taking her there, and then I moved to Livingston, and then during the time I was still taking her to Hackensack. Once she got sick home, I had to take her to St. Barnabas, and St. Barnabas, that's when they noticed it went to the brain. So she had stopped going to Livingston. I'm sorry, she stopped going to Hackensack, and then start to go to Livingston for radiation to try to shrink it in the brain. It wasn't a lot. It was very small, but it was something that prevented her from using the left side of her body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at that point, your role shifts from daughter to caregiver.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, it, like I said, it started in 2018, but it was at that time I was able, 2018 when she first got sick, I was able to kind of work part-time. But once the cancer really became really aggressive, I had to let, well, my job fired me pretty much. My job fired me. I had went on FMLA. With the FMLA running out, they're like, well, we can't keep your job, so they let me go. So at that time I was just like, my focus is my mom. I'm like, gotta make a way. Gotta
Right.
make a way. I know I need money. I have two kids to take care. So it really went from me having like two children to three, because my mom used to jokingly call me mom. you know she wouldn't say I was a daughter anymore. She would call me mom, and I used to say to her, I'm like, why do you call me mom? She said, because you take care of me like one. So it was crazy, and it was just like little things like that. And her and my youngest son, they used to go back and forth, and she was like, well, you're my brother now, you're not my grandson anymore, you're like my brother now. And it's like they would like bicker sometimes like siblings.
Right.
It's crazy. But yeah, that's it.
That's seems like that's how, life works. Like, that circle of, them taking care of us, and then we turn around and we take care of them.
Yeah.
So what were some of the hardest parts of being a caregiver that people don't often talk about?
The strength that you have to just really go through, because it takes a toll on your mental, it takes a toll on your emotional, it sometimes it takes a toll on your body, because you have to be able to lift this person and move them from maybe the chair to the bed, or bathe them, and and just the fact that sometimes it's just your life is just not your life anymore. Sometimes being a caregiver, you're just devoted to, taking care of that person, depending on, how much care that they actually need.
Right.
And yeah, so it was really, really hard, you
Yeah.
know.
What were some of the most meaningful and sacred moments that you shared with your mom during that time?
Um, she used to have me at the rehab facility. She used to have me get in the bed with her,
Mhm.
and I'm sorry.
Take your time. Take your time.
She used to have me get in the bed, and maybe like years before, I would like sometimes get a little short, like, I'm not getting in that bed with you. but but in that moment, it's just, it gave her peace, it gave her comfort. And I'm like, my feelings don't matter right now. It's all about her. It's all about making her comfortable. So you know that was, I guess, like one of the last moments that I will really treasure with her, because not too long after that she passed. So that was something that I really held close to me.
Yeah. Girl. I got my tissue. I got my tissue, honey. So how did you find the strength to keep showing up day after day, when you felt empty and afraid?
You know what? I grew up in a Christian family, and I came from a praying grandmother and a grandfather. And they always taught me that you honor your mother and your father, and your days would be long. So I grew up learning that you honor your parents until they leave this earth. And that kept me going because my mom needed me and she couldn't depend on anybody else. Even though she had siblings, she was my responsibility.
Mhm.
She took care of me. She sacrificed me, and days when she had worked hard and she came home, and I saw the exhaustion in her. This was like maybe me being 8, 9, 10. Through my teenage years, and she always made a way for me.
So
Why would I not?
that's right. That's how
Put that
good
in her,
do.
you know.
Mhm.
So yeah,
So, what did caregiving teach you about love, patience, and yourself?
it taught me that the person that's in that position, it's not their fault. So as much as sometimes where I used to get frustrated, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that everything was sunshine and rainbows with my mother, because sometimes she would do things and she wouldn't listen. And it was just like frustration. And I had to take a moment. Sometimes I had to leave the room. I had to go in a room and scream in a pillow and be like, this lady don't listen. This lady don't listen. Because the fact of the matter is her independence was being stripped from her. And she had no choice. So when your independence is being taken away, you know, people have a tendency to act out. And by her being sick the way she was, it can be frustrating at times. So
Mhm.
I had to like really realize like it's not her. It's not her. It's not her. Give her grace. Give her grace. Give her grace. And then I will, pull myself together. And if I got a little short with her, I would go and apologize and say, Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be that way with you. I didn't mean, I'm just having a bad moment or a bad day. So, you know,
So, when it became like close to her transitioning, what did that look like? Did it show like it was coming, or it was like,
it actually didn't, because when I took her to the hospital December 5th. She couldn't move the left side of her body. That's when we found out that she had the tumor on the brain. So we took her to the hospital. She seemed fine. She was in we took her to rehab, and the facility that she was in, and this is where caregivers, you have to really, 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 really advocate for your loved ones and facilities, because that sped up her demise.
really?
Because they had an outbreak of COVID in the rehab facility,
Wow.
and workers were coming in there sick and not wearing masks. So half the building might have the residents might have not have COVID, but the other did. They cross contaminated them.
Oh, wow.
Left rooms. They didn't take COVID protocols, and somebody got my mother sick, and
Oh,
she ended up having pneumonia, and
wow.
was fed it up. So I didn't see it happening, and then her body couldn't fight it off. So from her to be well, so within a month of her being gone,
Mm-hmm.
I was devastated because it came a lot sooner than it was supposed to happen.
Wow. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, how did the grieving process go? Like learning to carry both grief and gratitude at the same time.
I was grateful that God allowed me to be able to take care of her. Whether it was like financially, I was off and, struggling and everything that I needed. And believe it or not, my children really supported me as well, because it was times where I needed a break. I needed to leave. I needed to go out. I needed to have a drink. I needed to, just get out of this house to breathe for a moment. My kids stepped up. My kids make sure that she was fed. My kids made sure that if she needed anything, that she had it. So my grieving process is really, really, really tough. Like I'm still like in the midst of this grieving now. It's hard because we were so close. We
Mhm.
were so close. I'm 45, and just looking back all the years that we were, and anybody who really knows me, they know how close I was with my mother. Like
Mhm.
I never said my mother's my best friend because you know what? My mother shouldn't be my best friend. You understand what I'm saying? She's
Right.
my mother. It's
Mhm.
different. It's a different type of love. But it's hard day to day. Some days I'm okay. Some days I can talk about her. I can laugh. I can talk about how she used to yoke me up in my teenage years because me and her used to have our little moments. And then other days it's like I don't even want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why I was going to ask you, how does healing look like for you today? Like how do you get through?
healing is a continuous journey, and I don't tell anybody anything different. Healing is a constant process. Some things I sometimes I listen to certain music that I know she likes, or sometimes I'll make certain foods that I know she likes. But I heal in my own way and not how others want me to heal, because my healing has really caused some rifts, with people very close to me, because they don't understand how I'm healing. They don't understand the journey of my healing, and I try to get people to understand it's not for you to understand.
Right.
It's for me.
It's right. It's so hard to when you haven't lost a parent or a close loved one,
Mm-mm.
it's hard to
Yeah,
understand feeling, you
yeah,
know? And you said it before, like you used to be in a position where you were telling people, when they lost their parent, but you never felt how that felt
no.
till it happened to you.
Uh-uh. It's a different. I tell people it's a different kind of pain. It's a different kind of pain. I'm not gonna say so much as a father because I don't know what that feels, so I can't speak on that. But the person who gave you life, the person who brought you into this world, you know,
Hmm.
it's a different kind of pain when you lose them. Especially, I won't say unexpected, but it's it's different. It's hard for me to explain, but it's so different, and the pain is just I don't wish it on nobody. Like not even like a person I would consider an enemy. I don't even wish it on them.
So it's something
That
you recommend, a lot of people like, I don't know what to say, when people don't know what to say, like, is there something that you would recommend to people?
I don't recommend, and I tell people straight up, I do recommend that you don't tell people, oh, they're in a better place, because we don't want to hear that. Because grief will have you in very sometimes you have selfish moments in your grief. Sometimes you have moments where you like, I wish they were here. Like I know God, or whatever higher power that you call. I'm like, I know they should be there, but I feel as though they should be with me. I know God doesn't make mistakes, but maybe he did with this one. It's just so many different things, but I just say to people, just allow people grace, allow people time. Sometimes you don't even have to say anything. Sometimes just go sit with them. You
Mhm.
understand? Sometimes just just be there to listen. Sometimes just sit quietly and just let them express how they want to express, and don't judge them for doing it.
Right. That's, thank you. I actually have my mom and dad on here, and I'm very grateful. Lennon Bass and Caroline Delfino, I'm grateful for you guys being here on the podcast. So how did purpose grow out of your pain?
I feel my purpose with who I am as a person. I've always been a nurturer, um, but I've always been a little bit more. I guess because I was raised by my grandmother. Um, like I said, we lived in the house with my grandparents in a big house in East Orange, and my grandmother taught me a lot. My grandmother was a homemaker, so she was home. She raised hundreds of babies. From
My
different
grandmother,
areas.
used to foster a lot of Burdell Bass, rest in peace. She used to foster a lot of children and adopt a lot of children.
Well, but in a different sense, she would babysit.
Uh-huh.
Was babysit because she knew how hard it was to care for kids, but in that learning from her, she taught me how to become selfish. She taught me how to just be there for people. And that became my passion. And even to this day, I get so much joy out of helping others. So it,
Beautiful.
it just turns into passion.
Okay. What made you decide to speak publicly about your journey today?
Because I feel that people need to know they're not alone. They're not alone. Like, it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to, sometimes have moments where you might question if you did the right thing or wrong thing or what could you have done. You know, it's in order, I feel sometimes, in order for people to relate, like, somebody has to go through it, first, to kind of help other people through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like with that, me being as transparent and open as I am, it helps so many people by just knowing that you're not alone.
Right. Yeah, your mom was a beautiful person.
Thank
How
you.
has your mom's life and legacy shaped who you are becoming?
My mom was a very strong person. Prior to her getting sick, um, she was her parents' caregiver.
Oh, wow.
I watched her.
Mm-hmm.
I watched her, even though my grandmother had a lot of children, my mom has always been that one that she had the strength where people would lean to her.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandparents, up until, you know, they left this world, my mom was a caregiver. At times, when my grandmother, she in her later stages of life, she had dementia, but she had other health conditions, and my aunt was her full-time caregiver. So it was times my aunt needed a break. My mom, who was battling cancer and had history of strokes, would go over and be with my grandmother
Mm-hmm.
while she needed caring too.
Wow.
I learned from that. I watched that,
Uh-huh.
and it transferred into me.
She transferred that strength.
Yep, she did.
So, what would you say to someone who is currently taking care of a parent or a loved one right now?
I definitely would say be patient. You know, you only get, especially with one mother, you only get one mother. But I want you to know that there are resources out here if you are taking care of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they have Medicaid. If they have Medicaid, the state will pay you to be a caregiver. So it will help supplement your income.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely say utilize the resources, go do your research online, and they have something that's called respite. So respite basically comes in and it's
How do
a
you,
service.
how do you spell that respite? What is it?
Respite, RESPITE.
Okay.
It is, and they would come in and they would relieve the caregiver for a little bit to
Mm-hmm.
get out and do what they needed to do, and then it gives them a little break. So I definitely would say that utilize resources, ask other family members to step in, ask them, for a break because you have to take care of yourself too. And you might have to go to the doctor or you might have, something that you need to do.
Right.
So I definitely recommend that you get some support too as a caregiver.
Yes. What are one or two things that every caregiver must do to protect their own mental and emotional health?
They have to take time for themselves. They have to, when they get time, not even just when they get time, they have to make time, for your own mental health. And then you have to also make sure that you're taking care of yourself body wise, making sure that
Mm-hmm.
um you're paying attention to your body, but at the same time that you're looking after you too. Because
Right.
sometimes we forget. We're so busy taking care of the person who's sick that we forget about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very true. What do caregivers deserve that they often don't receive?
I don't want to say appreciation, um, but they need help. They definitely need help because taking care of somebody is not easy, and a lot of caregivers don't get support themselves. So I would definitely have to say they have to get support. They need a team of people for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
While they're taking care of the person.
Did you feel? How did you feel during it? Did you feel like you needed more support?
Um, for me, I didn't. On the opposite, I was very, and I'm gonna be very transparent. My family might see this, but I was very mad at my family at one point. Very mad because my family. I'm the oldest granddaughter. So that means I'm the first niece. And at one point, when she first started this journey, my family didn't think that I would be able to take care of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
They did not. They just like, oh well, I have another aunt in Georgia. And it's like, oh, we're gonna send her down there. She's gonna be able to take care of her. And I'm like, that's my mother. So, and I have power of attorney over her,
Right.
but my family still insisted on her going there, and I fought them up until she left, and things didn't go the way that I felt they should have. And when she came back, I just like, I'm not sending her back, you know. So I got to the point where I was just like, I'm doing it myself. I didn't care about a social life. I didn't care about anything else except for taking care of my mother and my three kids. So family has a way sometimes of, depending on who it is, they
Mm-hmm.
might overstep. They might overstep in that care, but at the same time, you have to be strong and just really realize and understand that you have to have the best intentions for this person. And if you don't feel as though you're equipped to take on the role at being a caregiver, then you might have to step aside and give it to somebody else. But if you know you can be a good caregiver, don't let nobody take that away from you.
Yeah. How did your mom feel during this? Like, did she want to go down there? Did she want to stay? Did she have?
She wanted to live, and I think that, and my mom, she wanted to make my aunts happy, and she just wanted to keep peace. And I think that in a sense where she wanted me to focus on the boys, on my sons,
Mm-hmm.
time, and maybe like knowing her, she didn't want to feel like she was a burden. That was a lot. That's the weight she carried. She never wanted to feel like she was a burden, and to me, she never was. Had she been on this earth now, I still would have been taking care of her. I still would have been doing what I had to do to make sure that my mom and my boys was good, because I became a single mom, um because at the time my then husband, he moved out of state, he moved very far, so I became a single mom and a caregiver all within a year. you know
That's damn
so
time.
she didn't want that on me,
Mm-hmm.
but I said, you don't have a choice. This is the decision that I'm making. So she was okay with that, and then when she came back, she knew, and she used to always thank me. She's like, you take so good care of me. Then that's when start calling me mom, because she knew that I wouldn't let anybody else, come in between making sure she was good.
So if she could see you today, what do you think she would say to you?
She'll be very proud of me. She
Yeah?
tell me that.
What would make her proud?
She always told me I had strength. She always used to tell me that I had strength, and she used to always tell me that you're such a great mom, and you do this, you do that. So
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Take your time, girl.
she would have been she would have been very proud of me, especially what I'm doing now for other people, because my mom was so selfless. She was so selfless. Even at work, she worked at IKEA, and all the young people used to flock to her.
Yeah.
Everybody would go to her for advice, and everybody would go to her about any announcements that they had going on in their life, whether they were getting married or having a baby, or they had boyfriend troubles or parent troubles. My mom was always that go-to person, always. So she saw a lot of herself in me,
Mm-hmm.
so she knew the strength that I had, and she knew I was going to be okay. Even up until what she had said to me before she passed. She knew when I moved here in Livingston. She was like, "Did you get a washer and dryer?" And I'm like, "You're sick. Like, what about washing the dryer?" She's like, "Because I know you need one." So that was the first thing I went and got after she passed. And I washed clothes, and I just sat in front of the washer and the dryer, and I just watched this spin, and I cried because she wanted me to have that, and I went and got it. And when she was in the hospital before she became non-responsive, because her last day she became non-responsive, she had told me two things. She wanted me to keep her ring. She had a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Let me to have it. And she um she was tired. She was tired, and it was a lot on my family because her Irish twin, my uncle, who's like less than a year younger than her, um he had um colon cancer.
Oh, wow.
He had passed, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and then 6 months later she had passed, and she felt that he should have been first. I mean, she should have been first because she got diagnosed before he did,
Mm-hmm.
and so he was more she was more sickly than him. So before she had passed, she had told me that she wanted to go be with him. This was right before she became non-responsive.
Oh, wow. She was ready.
She was ready to be with him, and I had to stand there strong and tell her that it was okay to go. And I told her, I said, you go when you're ready. Don't worry about me. I said, I might cry. I might be emotional. I may have bad days, but I'm going to be okay. I said, this is about you and not about me. And that was the hardest thing I had to say to her. And she told me before she passed, she wanted me to exhaust all measures before she transitioned. So they put her on critical care and everything like that. I was cursing the doctors out because they wanted to take her off the machines and everything like that. And I'm like, you're not about to do my mother like that. When she ready to go, she gonna go. It's
Right.
not up to you. It's up to God. When God ready to call her home and she says, yes, I'm willing to go, then that's where she gonna go.
Mm.
Um, she knew up until then my strength that I wasn't backing down from nobody. That I let her make that final decision.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, so, do you check? Have you gone through genetic testing to make sure that you're okay? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did. I did. So I'm okay. I'm okay.
because in the beginning you said you was going through your own issues, battle.
Yeah, yeah. But see, I had what with me, um, I had endometriosis.
Oh, okay.
So I had fibroids that was like really, really bad. So luckily they caught it. So it was, early cancer cells. So instead of them doing like, just removing like the uterus, they removed the cervix and everything. So it was early cancer cells. So they was just like, nope, mm-mm, and I was devastated with that because, like I said, she had known that she had found that lump. And when I told her, she going through what she was going through, she had to be strong for me because,
Right.
you know, I didn't know where I was gonna end up at, but yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Good. So, what message of hope do you want to leave with families who have lost someone to breast cancer or even cancer? Because this cancer is running
Yeah,
rapid.
yeah. I would definitely say that take your time grieving. You know, um grief comes in waves. And some days you're gonna be okay, some days you're not. But at the same time, um find ways to be able to um keep that person's legacy alive, keep that person's you know you know talk about stories of them, and just find ways to just still just keep their memory going, especially if they have grandchildren or whoever comes behind, just like always just make sure that they know what type of person they were. Good and sometimes even bad, because it's like we don't want to just pretend that, everybody was so good. I tell my kids, I said, you wonder why I got a temper the way I get it sometimes? Your
Hmm.
your grandmother? Your grandmother? You want to know why I'm so short sometimes with people? Your grandmother? So they know the good and bad. Her, my mother, she grew up in North. My mother went to Westside High School. She graduated in '76, and they lived all over there. Avon Avenue, Patshon Avenue. They lived everywhere. And my mom would fight if
Right.
need be. She ain't started, but she sure enough was gonna finish it. Like my mother used to fight from one end of the street all the way down the end of the street. It's like she would come and it was a time where I remember my grandfather had to step in the way, and show a gun because these people want to fight because they was gonna try to jump my mother, and then my aunts had to step in. My mother come from she's a family of 9 siblings. So you fight one sister, you gotta fight them all.
I
You know.
know somebody on here said she was a fighter. Do you know? Can you see who's chiming in?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She was my mother. My mother would throw hands. I literally up until my 20s, I was scared of my mother. Like I would not like I would sneak and do things, but I was terrified of my mother because my mother was short. My mother was only 5 foot. But my
Mhm.
mother did not play.
I know that.
So they need to know the good and bad of their mother.
Does anybody on here I want to open up? Does anybody have any questions in regards to caregiving? Does anything else you would like to share with us, Anya?
Um, my thing is, it's just like you said, this cancer is just growing, and you know, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter what sex you are, because men get it too. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter if you have money or you don't have money. Like, it's very important that we do all that we can to um just make sure that we're getting the message out for people to get checked and do whatever they can, because sometimes insurance companies will pay doctors not to test. So my thing is, we have to learn how to be advocates for one another. Sometimes you might not have family that you can turn to be an advocate. Maybe it's a friend, or maybe it's a coworker or somebody. I feel it's just though that you just have to make sure that you reach out to your village, and your village needs to make sure that they're there for you.
We got Viv on. She's a breast cancer survivor. She's going to be on the show next week with me. She says proactive, preventable measures are the best way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, how can people stay connected with you and the work that you're doing?
Well, I've taken on a new role.
Hey, and what is that?
Yes, director of caregiver and family support. That I know you said 1 year, but girl, you ain't gonna be able to get rid of me in 1 year.
You can stay as long as you want.
Tell whoever they cannot have my position after a year. But yeah, so we're definitely gonna have um healing circles, healing vibes. I am definitely here to be an advocate for caregivers, so that you don't feel alone. You can come and if you have questions, suggestions, or anything that we can do to help make you a better caregiver, or give you the resources that you need. So, I take on this new role as director very proudly. So you
Hey,
able to find me with the What's Behind the Bra um, awareness organization. So you definitely can find me there. I'm also on social media. Anya the Passionologist. Um,
Anya, can you spell it and how it
yeah,
looks?
yes, it's Anya ANYA_, and it's the Passionologist, THEPASSIONOLOGIST. Sorry, it's long, guys, but um, before I took on that role, I was a business owner. I took a little bit of a break from my businesses, but I do desserts and I sell passion. So in the name,
Hey,
it's the passionologist, because I'm a passionate person. So everything that I do, that means something to me, I put my heart into it. I put my everything into it. So, um, me being a passionologist, it just it just goes on different levels, different avenues, and caregiving just happens to be one of them. So,
Right. So, like she said, we're going to start something called the Healing Circle. And I
mhm.
think we're going to try to meet like once a month.
Yeah, so we'll definitely for now until we do have a space, but until we get people to really participate, join in, be a part of it, we're gonna do it through Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to get things rolling and get people to get people a part of it, because some caregivers might not be able to meet in person because they're being a caregiver. So we don't want to limit those people, and we don't want to take away from them as well. So the healing circle is just about being able to vent and maybe share ideas, or being able to just be that ear, because sometimes you might not know who you can vent to during this process of being a caregiver. Sometimes it's just certain things that you might not want to tell family. So with having this, it's a great way to be able to create a village
Mm-hmm.
that will be there to give you virtual hugs in person. So
Oh, that's beautiful. I can't wait to get that started.
yes, absolutely. So definitely, we just have to pick a date for next month to
Mm-hmm.
get going. And then, like I said, we'll be doing it monthly until we can do it in person.
Okay, okay. All right, family. This conversation tonight has truly been one for the heart.
Yes,
Anya, thank you again for your
absolutely. Thank
transparency and for
you.
honoring your mother's legacy. With
Absolutely.
your story is a reminder that caregivers deserve to be seen, supported, and poured into too.
Yes, absolutely.
But
It's very hard.
if this episode touched you, if it brought tears, comfort, or clarity, or if you know another caregiver or family member who would find healing in this conversation, please share this episode. You never know who needs to hear that they are not alone.
Absolutely.
This episode will be streaming on all podcast platforms, so
Mhm.
you can replay it and share it with others. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode of Behind the Stories.
Absolutely.
Excited to share that What's Behind the Bra is going to start the Healing Circles, which should be launching next month.
Yes.
Safe spaces for the survivors, the caregivers, and
Mm.
families to connect, release, and heal together.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if anyone is interested, please email us at info@behindthebra.org.
Okay.
And that's info@behindthebra.org. And if you feel led to support the mission, your donations help us continue to provide comfort care packages, resources, and community support. You can donate at www.behindthebra.org. From my heart to yours,
Yes.
thank you for being a part of the healing community.
Mhm.
Good night, and always remember no one fights alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just want to say one thing because I we have a few more minutes.
Yeah.
I am so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Proud of you because it takes a lot of courage to just be so open and transparent with your journey. I've seen the different segments on like News 12 and everything, and just how you show the good and bad, of this journey of this organization, and it takes a lot. It takes a special person to do that. I've seen you in your promoted days, and you out being everything, and then that really coming and hitting you, and you put the gloves on and you fought
Yes.
one. So, to be able to do this and, and take on this new journey, because even though you had it for a while, this is, now is we're getting the ball rolling, and we're moving forward, and we're hitting the streets, um pat 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 for the feet. you
Yeah.
know you're doing this and you're leading us,
Yeah.
and you're doing this for not just men and women, but the new generations to come.
Yeah.
So I really, really, really commend you, and I'm very proud of you for really making this organization what it can be. So yeah,
Thank you. I pray it helps and reaches others, and it reminds women and men to self-exam, to get your annual mammogram, and just to take care of your health, whether it be breast cancer, colon cancer, any kind of cancer. Just take care of your health. Like, don't be afraid of your body. Listen to your body, and take care of your health, because early detection, it really does save lives.
absolutely.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful night.
I will. I'm gonna go back in there and cook some more stuff. I've been with this snowstorm. I've been cooking. I was like, you know what? Let me cook enough food so I have to worry about. I don't gotta work tomorrow. So I'm like, y'all can leave me alone, and I don't have to deal with nothing else. You go in there and get what you want, and
Uh-huh.
God forbid, fingers crossed, hope the power don't go off.
Oh
We
no.
food that's already cooked. Now I don't gotta worry about. So yeah.
All right. Well, you have a great night, and I send all my love and blessings to
Thank you.
you through this healing journey,
Mm,
and sending my love to your mom, and just thank you for sharing her with us,
absolutely.
with me. I really appreciate it. Okay. I love you, girl.
Love you too. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.